I found myself at this intersection again, looking at the woman throwing a tantrum on the pavement and the electric scooter sprawled next to her. I had to laugh. In my last life, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. I was cyberbullied until I broke. This time, I only said 3 things. Let's wait for the cops. I'll do whatever the cops say. Whatever their report says, I'll accept it. Seeing me stonewall her, she stomped her foot in frustration and wailed into her phone's camera. Everyone, you be the judge. He hit me, and then he tried to hit me again. I leaned against my car and let out a yawn. We'll wait for the cops. I'll follow their lead. That's when she got desperate. Putting the facts aside, don't you think you're a little bit at fault here? The cops arrived, a man and a woman, their expressions professionally stern. The moment the woman saw the uniforms, she started wailing even louder, collapsing to the ground in a heap. Her phone's camera remained pointed squarely at us. Her name was Sarah Manning. In my last life, I remembered that name until the day I died. She pointed a trembling finger at me, her voice ragged. Officer, he hit me and tried to run. If I wasn't live on TikTok, he would have just driven off. The male officer glanced at me, then back at her, his brow furrowed. Dashcam footage. His tone was flat, a simple statement of fact. I nodded and handed him the memory card. Sarah's sobs hitched. A flicker of panic crossed her eyes, but it was quickly replaced by a mask of righteous fury. He's rich. He can fake anything. You have to believe me. I'm just a helpless woman, she yelled in her phone, as if declaring her innocence to the world. The officer ignored her, popping the card into a department-issued tablet. The high-definition video was perfectly clear. My car was stopped, completely behind the white line of the crosswalk the entire time. Her electric scooter wobbled, then veered sharply as if guided by a magnetic force, and slammed directly into my front bumper. Then, she expertly threw herself to the ground. The whole thing was as smooth as a choreographed dance, a performance so practiced it was almost impressive. The air went silent. The live chat on Sarah's TikTok feed, I imagined, had gone silent too. The look on her face morphed from outrage to disbelief, and then to a flash of pure venom. The female officer cleared her throat. Ma'am, based on the video, you intentionally collided with a stationary vehicle. Sarah scrambled to her feet. No way. The video's fake. He doctored it. She lunged for the tablet, but the male officer blocked her with his arm. I need you to calm down, ma'am. How can I be calm? She shrieked. You cops always stick together. He's got money, so you're on his side. Is there any justice in this world? She started ranting to her live stream about a cover-up, about how the rich can get away with anything. The male officer's face hardened. We enforce the law based on evidence. Right now, the facts are clear. You are 100% at fault, and you're under investigation for filing a false report and insurance fraud. I didn't. I've been framed. In the end, Sarah Manning was taken away for disorderly conduct. As they led her to the squad car, she shot me a venomous look. I knew this wasn't over. In my last life, this was the moment my life descended into hell. Back home, I took a shower. The hot water couldn't wash away the memories etched into my bones. In my last life, I didn't have a dash cam. I was publicly crucified by Sarah and her army of righteous followers. They call me this soulless rich kid, the road rage killer. My personal information, my home address, my workplace, was doxed and plastered all over the internet. My company fired me to quiet the online mob. My parents were harassed and insulted when they tried to protect me. Finally, I stood on a rooftop, looking down at the crowd of blurry faces holding up their phones, and I jumped. My phone rang. An unknown number. I answered. A young man's voice, tight with suppressed rage, crackled on the line. Are you the piece of trash who hit that woman and won't admit it? I didn't say anything. I'm telling you, we know who you are. Scum like you should be torn limb from limb. I calmly hung up. A second call came in, then a third. Text notifications began to explode on my screen. Murderer, why don't you just die? Hope your whole family burns in hell. We're coming for you. Watch your back. I opened Twitter. The #1 trending topic was my name. The hashtag millionaire plows over single mom. I clicked on it. The top post was Sarah's tearful indictment of me, filmed just before she was arrested. The video had been carefully edited. It only showed her crying on the ground and me leaning against my car, looking cold and indifferent. The part where I gave the police my dash cam footage was gone. The part where the cops declared her at fault was gone. Instead, it showed her being forcefully escorted to the police car, set to a tragic, swelling soundtrack. The comment section was a cesspool. This guy is disgusting. You can just tell he's a monster by the look on his face. Regardless of the facts, what kind of man just lets a woman cry on the pavement like that? He's got to be in the wrong. That's Sarah. I follow her. It's so hard for her raising a kid alone, and now she has to deal with this psycho. Bro, his address is out. The Sterling Tower, App 34B. Let's go get him. I looked at the address and smiled. In my last life, that message sent me into a full-blown panic attack. Now, I just felt they were taking too long. I turned off my phone and brewed myself a cup of chamomile tea. As the steam curled into the air, my heart felt calmer than it ever had before. I'm waiting for you. This time, we're going to have some fun. The phone lines at my office were jammed. My boss, Mr. Wallace, called my cell directly. He sounded exhausted and furious. Ethan, what the hell is going on? The company's social media and our stock forums are filled with people accusing us of protecting you. Do you have any idea? Mr. Wallace, the police report clarifies everything. I don't care about a police report. All I see is our company's reputation taking a massive hit. He yelled, Ethan, I'm giving you 24 hours. Go to that woman, reconcile, apologize, and pay her off. Get her to delete everything she posted online. I held the teacup, blowing gently on the surface. Mr. Wallace, I did nothing wrong. Why should I apologize? There was a pause on the other end, followed by an even bigger explosion. You did nothing wrong. Putting the facts aside, the entire internet thinks you're guilty. If you're not wrong, who's going to pay for the damage to this company's stock price? You. Now you go and fix this immediately. If you don't, you can clear out your desk. He slammed the phone down. I set down my tea and opened my laptop. I needed to look into something. Sarah Manning. In my last life, she was a symbol, a stand-in for the helpless victim. She used that symbol to chew me up and spit out the bones. This time, I was going to tear that symbol to shreds. I searched for her TikTok account. Her handle was Strong Mama Sarah, with a bio that read, just a single mom trying her best. Life is tough, but you have to keep smiling. Her banner image was a photo of her holding a little girl of about 4 or 5, a beatific smile on her face. Her videos mostly documented her difficult life. Hauling cinder blocks on a construction site, washing dishes in a restaurant kitchen, delivering for DoorDash late at night. Every video was paired with sad, instrumental music and inspirational captions. The comments were a flood of "You go, girl, moms are the real heroes," and this made me cry. Just sent you a donation. On her list of top donors, the #1 username was Sarah's Avenger. He had donated over $10,000 in total. I clicked on the Sarah's Avenger profile. He wasn't subtle. His feed was full of exotic cars, luxury watches, and pictures of him at exclusive clubs. His latest post was a photo of his forearm, which featured a large scorpion tattoo. The caption read, "Pissed off. Some people just need to be taught a lesson." I stared at that scorpion tattoo, and my eyes narrowed. In my last life, at the peak of the harassment, a group of thugs with the exact same tattoo broke into my apartment and trashed the place. The man leading them had that identical scorpion on his arm. I saved the photo. Then I started going through all of Sarah's videos, frame by frame. Finally, in a video where she claimed to be washing dishes in a restaurant kitchen, I saw it. A watch on her wrist caught the light for a split second. I paused the video and zoomed in. It wasn't some cheap digital watch. It was a limited edition women's Cartier, worth well over 6 figures. A single mom who scraped by washing dishes was wearing a $100,000 watch? Interesting. I kept digging. In a video where she was crying about her child being sick with no money for a doctor, a medicine bottle was visible in the background for a fleeting moment. I screenshotted it and ran a search. It was a specialty drug for treating severe gout in adults, not for a child. I leaned back in my chair and smiled. Someone was banging on my door. Hard, like they were trying to break it down. I looked through the peephole. 3 or 4 thuggish-looking men were crowded outside. The one in the lead had the scorpion tattoo on his arm. I didn't open the door. The leader started yelling, "Hayes, get your ass out here. You think you can hit someone and then hide like a coward? If you don't open this door, we're going to take it off its hinges." Another one of them pulled out his phone and started filming. "You see this, people? This is the coward, hiding in his apartment, too scared to face us. I took out my own phone and called building security. Hi, this is Ethan Hayes in 34B. There are several unidentified men outside my door causing a disturbance and threatening to break it down. Could you please send someone up? Next, I dialed 911. Yes, 911. I'm being trapped in my apartment. My personal safety is being threatened. Yes, they're live streaming it online. The shouting outside grew louder, punctuated by the thud of someone kicking the door. I sat on my sofa, perfectly calm. In my last life, they kicked the door in, dragged me out, and beat me senseless. When I called the police, they told the cops that I had attacked them. My neighbors, terrified, refused to act as witnesses. The case was dropped, and a new charge was added to my name online. Rich asshole beats up unpaid workers. That's right. They claimed to be construction workers demanding unpaid wages. And Sarah, they said, was their co-worker. This time, I wasn't giving them a chance. Soon, I heard the sounds of security guards and police officers in the hallway. Hey, what are you doing? Stop right there. The noise outside my door stopped abruptly. I heard the man with the scorpion tattoo trying to talk his way out of it. Officer, we're just here to collect a debt. He owes us for a job we did. Yeah, that's right. Our friend, Sarah Manning, he hit her with his car, and she's still in the hospital. I opened the door. The police and 2 security guards had the men surrounded. When the scorpion guy saw me, his eyes lit up and he pointed. That's him. Not only does he refuse to pay us, he hired people to threaten us. I looked at him, saying nothing. The lead police officer turned to me. Is what he's saying true? I shook my head. Officer, I don't know these men. As for the Sarah Manning he mentioned, the traffic division already handled that yesterday. She was found at fault for staging the accident. The scorpion guy panicked. That's bullshit. You faked the evidence. Sarah's a sweetheart. She would never scam anyone, he yelled, his performance full of genuine-sounding grief. We just want justice. Putting the facts aside, he's a rich CEO. Is it too much to ask for him to pay us what he owes? There was again. Putting the facts aside, I smiled. Officer, these men created a public disturbance outside my apartment, made threats against me, and live-streamed the entire thing, all of which has severely impacted my life. I want to press charges. Also, I said, holding up my phone to show them the video I had just recorded. I have footage of them kicking my door. The scorpion guy's face turned the color of raw liver. The scorpion guy and his crew were taken away by the police. As he was being led away, he glared at me like he wanted to eat me alive. I knew this was just the beginning. This crew was more organized than I thought. They wouldn't give up easily. Sure enough, a news story broke online that evening. Someone claiming to be Sarah's neighbor posted a long, rambling essay. In the article, Sarah was painted as a tragic heroine. She'd had a happy family until her husband cheated on her, took everything in the divorce, and left her to raise their sick child alone. And I was cast as the other man. The article implied that I had pursued Sarah, and when she rejected me, I flew into a rage, hit her with my car, and then used my wealth and influence to cover it up. The story was more dramatic than a soap opera. Attached to the post were several pieces of evidence. One was a photo of me and Sarah at a coffee shop. It was blurry, obviously taken from a distance. I was in a suit, and Sarah was sitting across from me with her head down, as if she were crying. Another photo showed Sarah holding her child, standing in front of a dilapidated apartment building with a sorrowful look in her eyes. The article ended with a plea for donations to help the poor woman get through this crisis, complete with a link to her Venmo. I stared at the coffee shop picture and remembered. It was from the first and only time my father ever set me up on a blind date after I moved back to the States. The woman had a last-minute conflict and sent her assistant to deliver a gift and her apologies. That assistant was Sarah Manning. Back then, she was just an ordinary, plainly dressed girl who barely said a word. I never imagined she would turn into this. As for the dilapidated apartment building, I zoomed in on the photo. I could just make out a sign near the entrance. The Lakeview Community Senior Center. She didn't live there. It was just another prop for another one of her stories. My phone rang again. It was my father. His voice was filled with disappointment and rage. Ethan, what in God's name have you gotten yourself into? Are those things online true? Did you really get involved with that kind of trashy woman? I don't care what you have to do, you fix this now. I will not have the Hayes family name dragged through the mud. I offered no explanation. In my last life, I had explained myself 1,000 times, and no one believed me. They only believed what they wanted to believe. Dad, I'll take care of it. Take care of it. How? Do you know how much our company's stock dropped today? Because of you. You go to that woman, you apologize, you give her whatever money she wants, and you make her shut up. I said nothing. What's with the silence? Ethan, I'm telling you, if you can't make this go away, don't bother coming home. He hung up. The apartment was deathly quiet. I went back to my computer and pulled up the social media profile of Sarah's Avenger, the Scorpion guy. He was already out of custody, and he just posted something new. Some people think a little money means they can do whatever they want. Just you wait. The game is just getting started. Below the post, Sarah's Strong Mama Sarah account had liked it. I refreshed the page. Sarah had posted a new announcement for her next live stream. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., live from the hospital. Some injuries can't be seen. Thank you all for your support. The accompanying picture was of an empty hospital bed. The hospital, a classic. In my last life, she did the same thing. She went live from a hospital, claiming I had given her a concussion and internal bleeding, and that she might be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. Countless messages of sympathy poured in, which converted into countless donations. And I became the monster who wouldn't even pay her medical bills. This time, I wouldn't let her get her way. I looked at the Scorpion guy's post, then at Sarah's announcement. An idea began to form in my mind. If they wanted to put on a show, I would join the cast. I created a new social media account. The profile picture was the back of a man in sunglasses, leaning against a Lamborghini. The username, Chicago_player. The bio, money comes, money goes. The perfect image of a clueless trust fund kid with more money than sense. Using this account, I found the Scorpion guy's page and sent him a direct message. Yo, that Scorpion tat is sick. Where'd you get it done? A guy like him, who lived his life online, was used to these kinds of messages. He replied almost instantly, What, you want one too? I wrote back, thinking about it. You look like you know what's up. Try to learn the ropes. To show my sincerity, I immediately sent him a $100 tip through the app's gifting feature. He accepted it in a second. His attitude immediately warmed up. My man, no need to be so formal. We're all friends here. His name was Rick Vance. I started calling him Rick. For the next 2 days, I chatted with Rick as Chicago_player. We talked about cars, watches, and women. I acted like a rich kid who had just moved back from overseas, fascinated by the local scene and desperate to fit in. To seal the deal, I rented a McLaren just like his and sent him a picture of me with it. Rick let his guard down completely. He started bragging about his connections and his business. Bro, you see me and my crew. It looks like we're just messing around, but there's a method to the madness, you know? What's the fastest way to make cash? It's all about creating viral content. You just find someone with a sob story, build a character around it, get them to cry online, live stream some drama, and the money just rolls in. I pretended to be fascinated. That's genius, Rick. You gotta show me how it's done. Rick sent back a smug emoji. Easy, bro. But this business is tricky. You gotta have the right talent. Take our girl Sarah, he said, bring her up himself. Don't let her act fool you. That's all it is, an act. In real life, she's sharp as a tack. I laughed to myself, but typed back with feigned surprise. Sarah? You mean that single mom who's all over the internet right now? That's the one. Rick's ego was practically glowing through the screen. I masterminded that whole thing. That dumbass Ethan Hayes is so twisted up, he doesn't know which way is up. I kept pressing. Is that Hayes guy really that bad? Bad. He's a total coward. I went to his place with my boys, and he was too scared to do anything but call the cops. But it doesn't matter. We got a big finale planned for tomorrow. Sarah's going live from the hospital. We're staging a huge scene. It's going to be the final nail in that rich boy's coffin. I stared at the screen, my fingers flying across the keyboard. What kind of scene? Tell me, Rick. I want to learn from the best. Rick, probably convinced he had a new superfan in his pocket, laid out the entire plan without a second thought. Tomorrow, we have a guy pretending to be a doctor. He's going to give her a fake medical report that says she's knocking on death's door. Then Sarah will cry on the live stream, saying the stress he caused is killing her. The internet will explode. That Hayes idiot will have to pay out $1 million just to make it go away. We've already paid a bunch of influencers to share the story at the same time. We even have the headline ready. Millionaire's harassment puts single mom in the ICU. So what do you think, bro? Epic, right? I looked at his plan and smiled. Epic. It was definitely epic. I replied, Rick, you're a legend. I'll be watching for sure. I'll send some major gifts your way. Rick sent a voice message, his tone dripping with arrogance. That's my boy. After we land this fish, I'll take you out. Bottle service and models, on me. I closed the chat, screenshotting and screen recording the entire conversation. Then I made a call. A steady, male voice answered on the other end. Hello. Julian, it's me. Ethan Hayes. Julian Reed. He was a few years ahead of me in college and was now a well-respected investigative journalist who specialized in exposing online scams and corruption. His YouTube channel, The Dig, had millions of subscribers. In my last life, when I had nowhere else to turn, I had reached out to him. But back then, I had no proof, and he had no reason to believe me, a man already condemned by the court of public opinion. This time was different. You got a minute? I have a big story for you. I think you're going to be very interested. I met Julian in a quiet corner of a hotel lobby bar. He looked the same as I remembered. Black-rimmed glasses, a plaid shirt, a little rumpled, but with sharp, intelligent eyes. He sized me up. You're the guy from the internet. I nodded. That's me. He frowned. Ethan, it's not that I don't want to help, but your situation is a mess. Without concrete proof, there's not much I can do. I didn't say a word. I just slid my phone across the table. On the screen was my entire chat history with Rick Vance. It also included the evidence I'd found, the photos of Sarah wearing the Cartier watch, and the other clues I'd uncovered about the professional scam ring she was a part of. Julian's expression shifted from cautious to surprised, then to grimly serious. He read through the chat logs several times before looking up at me. These people are a professional fraud ring. They are. They're weaponizing public sympathy to create online mobs and extort people. That's right. Julian pushed his glasses up his nose. A glint of excitement sparked in his eyes. It was the look of a hunter who had just spotted his prey. What's your plan? I told him. He listened, silent for a long moment. Then he smiled. Ethan, you're a lot more ruthless than I thought. Just giving them a taste of their own medicine. Julian stood up and extended his hand. Let's do it. Let's do it. At 8 o'clock that night, Sarah's live stream started right on schedule. The setting, as promised, was a hospital room. She was in a hospital gown, her face pale, leaning weakly against a propped-up pillow with an IV drip in her arm. The title of the stream had been changed to, I don't think I'm going to make it. The moment she went live, her viewer count shot into the hundreds of thousands. The chat was a waterfall of concern. Sarah, what's wrong? Why are you in the hospital? Did that Ethan guy do something to you again? Stay strong, Sarah. We're all here for you. Sarah managed a weak smile for the camera. Thank you, everyone. I'm okay. It's just, after the accident the other day, I've been feeling so dizzy and sick, and then today Her eyes welled up with tears. The doctor said it might be a complication from the concussion. I have to stay for observation. She never mentioned my name, but every word was designed to imply that her condition was my fault. Just then, the door to the hospital room opened. A doctor in a white coat and a surgical mask walked in, holding a clipboard. Sarah Manning, your test results are back. The doctor's expression was grave. Sarah asked nervously, Doctor, how is it? The doctor sighed and handed her the chart. The situation isn't good. There's a clot in your brain, putting pressure on a nerve. It could be life-threatening at any moment. I'm recommending immediate surgery. He paused for dramatic effect. Where's your family? You need to notify them. Have them come and prepare themselves. That line was a bombshell that detonated in the live chat. Sarah stared at the chart, her hands shaking. Then she completely broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. I don't have any family. I just have my son. If I die, what will happen to my baby? Her cries were gut-wrenching. The emotion in the live stream reached a fever pitch. The chat went insane. Oh my God, it's that serious? That Ethan Hayes is a murderer. He has to pay for this. He needs to go to jail. Everyone donate to Sarah's medical fund. We have to save her. The donation tracker at the bottom of the screen began to spin like a slot machine. Rick Vance, under his Sarah's Avenger account, sent a digital rocket, the platform's most expensive gift, worth $5,000. Everything was going according to their script. Sarah cried even harder. I don't want to die. Please, someone help me. And at that exact moment, a new voice cut through the air. I'm here to help. The voice came from the doorway of the hospital room. The camera operator panned over. Julian Reed was standing there, holding up his own phone, with the Dig production team right behind him. And standing just behind him was me. Sarah's sobs caught in her throat. The look on her face was priceless. The man playing the doctor froze in place. Who are these guys? What's going on? Wait, isn't that the rich guy? What is he doing there? Julian aimed his phone's camera directly at Sarah and the fake doctor. His own live stream had just gone live. Hello, everyone. This is Julian Reed from the Dig. Tonight, we're going to expose a professional fraud ring that preys on your kindness and compassion to make a profit. Julian's voice was clear and confident. The color drained from Sarah's face. She instinctively reached for her phone to end the stream, but it was too late. Julian nodded at me. I took out my phone and connected it to a portable projector his team had brought. A second later, my entire chat history with Rick Vance was projected onto the sterile white wall of the hospital room. Bro, it looks like we're just messing around, but there's a method to the madness, you know? Tomorrow, Sarah's going live from the hospital. We're staging a huge scene. It's going to be the final nail in that rich boy's coffin. We have a guy pretending to be a doctor. He's going to give her a fake medical report. Rick's arrogant voice message echoed from the speakers, filling the room. The world went completely quiet. The hundreds of thousands of viewers in Sarah's stream and the millions flooding into Julian's stream saw and heard everything. The fake doctor, terrified, ripped off his mask and made a run for it. He was immediately tackled by Julian's producer. Sarah sat on the hospital bed, trembling, speechless. Her makeup was smeared with tears, making her look like a sad clown. Julian's camera held steady on her. Ms. Manning, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans right now? The chat exploded. Holy yes. What a twist. It was a script. It was all an act. Oh my God, I just donated $100 to her. This woman is disgusting. Using our sympathy like that. Refund. You're a scammer. Refund. Where's that Rick guy? Get him. Arrest him. I looked at the chat logs on the wall, then back at the torrent of angry comments on the screen. I pulled out my next piece of evidence. Photos of Sarah wearing her $100,000 watch at exclusive nightclubs. Proof that her sick child was actually her brother's perfectly healthy son, and property records showing she owned 3 condos and 2 luxury cars. The strong single mom was nothing but a carefully crafted lie. One lie after another was dismantled in front of a live audience of millions. Sarah finally snapped. She leaped off the bed and lunged at me like a wild animal, trying to grab my phone. It's fake. It's all fake. You're framing me. Before she could reach me, she was restrained by hospital security, who came running in response to the commotion. Real doctors and nurses arrived on scene. A head nurse looked at Sarah with a confused frown. This patient isn't from our ward. She was just admitted this afternoon for dizziness, but all her test results came back completely normal. That was the final nail in the coffin. Fraud. A complete and total fraud. Sarah Manning's TikTok channel was mass reported by angry viewers and permanently banned. And the hashtag the Dig exposes scammer trended #1 in the country. Rick Vance and his crew were arrested shortly after. With all the evidence against them, they didn't even have a chance to lie. I handed over everything I had, the proof of their staged accidents, their extortion, and their online defamation campaigns, to the district attorney. They were facing serious prison time. The tide of public opinion turned completely. The same people who had sent me death threats were now flooding my social media with apologies. I'm so sorry. I was fooled. I shouldn't have been part of the mob. Dude, I was wrong. You were the real victim all along. You should sue them for everything they have. Make those scammers rot in jail. My former boss, Mr. Wallace, also called me. His voice was so syrupy it made me sick. Ethan, I knew you were innocent all along. You're a credit to this company. And don't you worry. That suspension was a complete mistake on our part. I personally apologize. When can you come back to work? I'll give you a promotion and a raise. I listened to him and just laughed. That won't be necessary, Mr. Wallace. I've already quit. I hung up and blocked his number. Some bridges are better left burned. My father called too. He was quiet for a long time before he spoke. Ethan, you were right this time. His voice sounded tired, tinged with regret. Come home. Okay, I said. This time, I didn't refuse. Some things, once broken, can be mended. Others, once lost, are gone forever. I was lucky to have a second chance. Julian became a star because of the story. The dig became synonymous with online justice. He took me out for a celebratory dinner and showed me the update on Sarah and Rick's case. Fraud, extortion, defamation. With multiple charges, they were looking at several years behind bars. Justice is sweet, Julian said, taking a sip of his beer. I nodded. But, Julian said, looking at me, I have to ask, how did you even think of that method for getting close to Rick? I just smiled and didn't answer. I could hardly tell him I had died once already. The pain of my past life had forged the strength of this one. Whatever doesn't kill you truly does make you stronger. After dinner, Julian asked, so what's next for you? Going back to the family business. I shook my head. I'm thinking of doing what you do. Julian looked surprised. What I do? Yeah, I said, my gaze steady. I want to start a foundation. Something that provides legal and strategic help for victims of cyberbullying and online fraud. Fight fire with fire. Use the media to combat the mob. We'll find the keyboard warriors hiding behind their screens and the scammers who prey on people's kindness, and we'll drag every single one of them into the light. Julian stared at me, his eyes lighting up. He slammed his hand on the table. Damn right. Count me in. Our organization, the Clarity Project, was officially born. Julian and I were partners. We hired a small team of smart, passionate young people who knew technology, law, and media. Our first case was helping a college student who was the victim of revenge porn. A guy she had rejected at school had photoshopped her face onto naked bodies and spread the images through dozens of group chats and online forums. The girl was so humiliated she had attempted suicide. Her parents came to us. We took the case without hesitation. Julian handled the investigation, and I planned the public counteroffensive. We didn't go to the police first. We knew that in cases like this, collecting evidence is difficult and convictions are rare. Even if the guy was arrested, he'd likely get a slap on the wrist, a few days in jail, a small fine. It wouldn't come close to compensating for the damage he had done. What we wanted was to ruin his reputation. We wanted him to face social death. We gathered all the evidence of him spreading the fake images, along with testimony about his history of bullying and other misconduct at the university. Then we coordinated with several major influencers to release all the evidence at the exact same time. We created a video comparing his two personas. On one side of the screen was his carefully curated social media image, the handsome, popular honor student. On the other side was a stream of his vile, threatening text messages to the girl. The stark contrast ignited a firestorm of public outrage. The hashtag University Star Exposed trended for 3 straight days. The university, under immense pressure, immediately issued a statement and expelled the student. He became a social pariah overnight. His family had to move out of town. Later, the girl sent us a plaque for our office. It read, "A light in the darkness, guardians of the web." The light was back in her eyes. She told us she was going to study hard and become someone who helps people, just like us. In that moment, I felt like everything I was doing finally had meaning. I stood at the window of our office, watching the traffic flow on the street below. My phone rang. An unknown number. A timid girl's voice came through. "Hello, is this the Clarity Project? I think I've been scammed." I smiled. "Don't be afraid," I said. "Tell us what happened. We'll help you."